Right, so hello, welcome back to the channel. And Kylian Mbappe is off to Saudi Arabia. What?
I know.
Well, not quite just yet, but it's looking more and more likely that he will go to the Saudi League. The team in question who have submitted the bid that PSG have accepted for Mbappe are Al Hilal, who have Ruben Neves, Milinkovic-Savic and Kalidou Koulibaly. But as well as that, the contract they offered him, it's outrageous. So yes, they submitted a €300 million bid for Mbappe.
That's a lot of money.
Which would be a world record fee, beating Neymar's total, but they offered him €700 million a year just for the 1 year.
Cheesy pips, man.
To put that 700 mil a year into context, I mean, that's 60 million a month. That's about 13 mil for a week, about 2 million a day. Then you've got about 80k for an hour. Then across a minute, or you get about 1.3k. And then every second, that is 22 euros.
Damn.
The reason that the Saudi clubs can pay for so much is because the Ministry of Sport in Saudi Arabia have allocated 17 billion euros across from now on transfers all the way up until 2030. So my prediction because of that is the fact that I think for the next year or two, they'll probably spend a favourable chunk of that, try and entice more and more superstars to come to the Saudi League and grow it. And then over the next 4, 5, 6 years, they'll still spend big, but it'll just die down. It's just right now there's an explosion of it to try and get the popularity of it up and really bring eyes on the Saudi Arabian Football League. And look, Cristiano Ronaldo is what David Beckham was to the MLS for the Saudi League. I mean, if he doesn't go over there, no one else joins him. And I know that he said that, and a bunch of people slagged him online saying that, oh, it's not the money that's making them go over, which obviously, yes, that does entice people to go over, but at the same time, if Ronaldo doesn't go over there, no real superstar, Ruben Neves isn't going over there, Milinkovic-Savic isn't going there, Koulibaly's probably not going to end up over there, Firmino, Mahrez, none of them would go unless Ronaldo went, and that was the same with what David Beckham did with the MLS, just on a smaller scale financially. And the Saudi League are getting their players. There's so many to list. You've got Ronaldo, obviously, the current Ballon d'Or winner in Karim Benzema. You've got Kante, Jota, Alisson Maximin's apparently going over there. Mahrez, Jordan Henderson's going over there. I mean, who'd have seen that coming about 6 months ago?
Not me.
And there's so many more. And then you've got the likes of Steven Gerrard, who's taking managerial positions over there. Nuno Espirito Santo. It is slowly building the league. But at the same time, for all those players that I've just mentioned have gone to the Saudi League, a lot of them are past their best. They're older. And then the likes of Neves, Koulibaly, they've gone for the money, realistically, and they've even admitted that in their interviews. Koulibaly saying that he wants to build like more schools in Senegal, and Neves saying that he wants to set up his family for generations to come. So will Mbappe go? I mean, it's a lot of money. Who's going to turn down that sort of money? I'll tell you who. Because he is not going to Saudi Arabia. Now, why have I said that? It's because, one, I think he's going to earn over £1 billion or dollars, euros, whatever you want to call it. He's going to be a billionaire by the time he's about 40. I mean, I know he could speed up this whole process, but he's going to earn so much money and he's going to get so much sponsorship money and so many loyalty bonuses. I don't think he actually cares about the money. What he really wants is the Champions League. And he can't win the Champions League if he's in Saudi Arabia.
Well, obviously,
people will say there's not a chance he turns it down. I mean, I wouldn't turn it down. No, of course you wouldn't turn it down. But Mbappe's on so much money anyway, he will not take it. He only cares about the Champions League. And if he can win a Champions League with PSG, that would be preferable. But he just wants the trophy. Hence the links to Real Madrid, who are the best team to win this competition. As a Parisian, look, Mbappe wants to win the Champions League with PSG. That's what his dream is, to be in Paris, playing for PSG, his hometown club, lifting the Champions League trophy for the first time in their history. But if that doesn't go to plan and they don't win the Champions League this year, which they probably won't do because they've not really got the squad depth and everything, which I'll get into in a bit, he'll just go to Real Madrid on a free, and PSG are going to lose out on all that money, hence why they're trying to sell him to Saudi Arabia right now, because they want to recoup that. It's also PSG's fault anyway that they're going to lose Mbappe for nothing potentially next summer, because they've not built a team around him. If you look back to 2015 and everyone goes on about Messi, Neymar, Suarez, and you've got 3 superstars there, so why did it work then and why didn't it work now? And it's because of the teams. I mean, Suarez as well did a lot of the dirty work. Messi never pressed, and he never would, because that's not who he is, and you need him for those magical moments. Neymar did a tiny bit, but again, he's got that ego about him, and he's a bit lazy in that regard as well. He's not going to go out and press. Suarez would do a lot of the heavy lifting at the top, but then you had Iniesta, Xavi, Busquets, who did so much running, and then Rakitic obviously came in for Xavi, and it was a lot more of a team sort of effort in there. I mean, they knew what Messi was good at, and they just left him to his own devices and worked around him. Whereas at PSG, with Mbappe, Neymar and Messi, none of them want to go do that pressing, and as well as that, the midfield's quite lazy, and they've got an arrogance about them that Barcelona team didn't have, so that's why it's not really worked for them in the recent years. But it's not just that front three. As I said, the midfield's lazy, it doesn't work. You've got Verratti in there, and Verratti, he's not a proper grafter. He's a good technical player, he's a good dribbler, passer, but he's not that proper grafter that you want in there that's going to put in the hard yards. Danilo Pereira, I mean, you're trying to win the Champions League and you've got players like Danilo Pereira, really? Then Paredes, what does Paredes even do on a football pitch? He brings no quality. That defence as well. Yes, you've got Hakimi and Nuno Mendes. I like them. Marquinhos is fine, but he needs a solid player next to him. Ramos a bit past his prime. Kimpembe, one of the most overrated defenders I've seen in my life. He is woeful, never switched on. And then Donnarumma just lacks a lot of concentration as well. And he's not great at distributing the ball. So there's tons of flaws in this team, and don't even get me started on the manager situation there either. I mean, the whole spine of that team is weak, and the way I would fix it, I'd go and get Gvardiol from Leipzig. I'd challenge Man City. I know he probably wants to go to Man City, but I'd say, hey, come play for us, come sort out our defence. I know Skriniar's come in so we can see what he can do. Then in that midfield, go get Joshua Kimmich. Apparently Bayern Munich are up for selling him. Go buy him. I would have got Gundogan, but he's already gone to Barcelona. I think he would have been a perfect fit for them. And then instead of Thuram, who I would have taken to work with Mbappe, because we know he works well up top in the French team with Mbappe, go just buy Kolo Muani. I mean, Mbappe knows he'll work with him. Then you've got Asensio on the other side, and that's a great front three. And this is more shaping up to be a team that works for Mbappe and can really bring the best out from him. And whether you like to admit it or not, Mbappe is probably the best player in the world. It's a close one between him and Erling Haaland, but Mbappe, he takes it for me.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
And you can't have the best player in the world going to the Saudi League before he's even 25. It just doesn't really work like that. And then you get these idiots like Roy Jennings who are taking jobs away from journalists who are saying that, oh, well, he's not the best player in the world because he's not done it in the Champions League and he doesn't play in a proper league. That is so far-fetched. That is such an elitist point of view from him as well. I mean, let's not forget, Mbappe scored a hat-trick in the World Cup final. He scored a hat-trick in the Champions League at the Nou Camp. He's played in the Champions League final. He's played in 2 World Cup finals, all before the age of 23. And you can say what you want about the French league. It is still a good standard of league. It's just not as strong as some of the other leagues, but the numbers that Mbappe puts up in those leagues are ridiculous. And then you look at the likes of Ronaldo and Messi when they were playing in La Liga. You're trying to tell me that those defences outside of the Barcelona and the Real Madrid defence and maybe the Atletico Madrid defence were any good? Nonsense. They were mints. And Messi scored 91 goals in a calendar year, which is unbelievable. But you're going to say, oh, well, that's unbelievable, but you won't mention the state of the defence that he did. It's so elitist for you to say that the standard of French football is poor, and it's just lazy on his part as well. Alright, it doesn't matter if you think that Mbappe is the best player in the world or the second best player in the world. Everyone can at least admit that he's in the top 5, and if you don't admit that he's in the top 5, you are a lunatic and know nothing about football. I mean, the man is severely talented, and it would be a right shame for him to go to the Saudi League just for a wee bit, get some money, and then go to Real Madrid and win the Champions League. It's all a bit sad. I think he'll stay at PSG for this final year in his contract. I think if they get close to winning the Champions League and they build a credible side for him this summer, which is so important they do and they're not doing, he might even stay for a year or two. But if not, he'll be off to Madrid in the summer of next year, and he'll finish his career with at least 2 or 3 Champions League trophies. That Saudi offer will always be there for him. It will. And it'll just be a crying shame if he leaves and goes there so young. So, let me know what you think of the Mbappe situation. If you were Mbappe, would you go over to Saudi Arabia? Would you go to Real Madrid? Would you stick it out at PSG? Do you think he'll win the Champions League? And just confirm to me that you think Roy Jennings is a terrible human being. That would be great. Also, if you could like the video, give it a share and subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated as well. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers.